study as usual, and earn
Shalom
money while
Israel,
doing
shalom,
research.
shalom,
It
Shabbat
can be
shalom,
done
happy
as
Sabbath,
a
happy
course
Sabbath.
expert
It's
on
your boy
Study
King
Drive.
Hebrew man coming to you with another video. It's gonna be a quick video. Slakia. It's gonna be a video about how we are under sin. So we're gonna kick it off with let's get the book of Romans real quick. I got about 8 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Memory is still full, so I've been trying to delete stuff, trying to get some time in, but you know what I'm saying, we're gonna use up all of our time. It's the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Right? So we are sold under sin. There is another precept I want. Now, mind you, it just said that we are sold under sin. Okay? We are sold under sin, subject to vanity, bondage of corruption. Us being in this flesh, we're dealing with temptation every day. Carnal thoughts, you know what I'm saying? We have to start being more spiritual, start thinking more spiritual, acting more spiritual, being more nice, being more meek, being more humble. All right, it's the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of Yahweh. Verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. So it's not our fault that again the Lord knew who he was going to choose to be subject to vanity. He knew who was going to be who was going to be what. You know what I'm saying? So we were subject to vanity. We were bought at a price, sold under sin, subject to vanity, bondage of corruption. So we're going to be delivered from this bondage of corruption, just like we were in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt, we were in bondage. Bondage of what? Corruption. Why? Because the Egyptians, they weren't like us. They had their own gods. They had their own stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So that was a bondage of corruption. We are in bondage of corruption to this day. You know what I'm saying? Being in this country is very corrupted. We all know that. And there's nothing new under the sun. Going to the book of Ecclesiastes, right? So again, I don't have much time. But again, mind you how it said, how we just read in the book of Romans, how we are sold under sin, okay? I'm gonna read that again, the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. A precept to that is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 23. Ye are bought with a price, be not ye the servants of men. Servants of men, what does that mean? Being servant to men, being a servant to sin, being a servant to your flesh, whether it's smoking weed, you know what I'm saying, you have a porn addiction problem, whatever the case may be, right? You were bought at a price and sold under sin, okay? So it's very, very important that again, the Lord, he didn't want us to be servants to sin. That's why he died for us. He died so we would not be servants to sin. So we got to keep fighting until we are delivered from this bondage of corruption. Right? Let's get I believe I'm on First Timothy, so we won't be. Alright, it's the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. That's the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 16. That's why we have to start living spiritually. Why? Because this law is spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta understand these things. I'm about to get on. I'm about to hit 5 minutes. I'm trying to hurry it up. Salakia. So we won't be servant to sin. Alright, it's the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 2. That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, being service to men, the lust of men, but to the will of God. That's what we're doing, right? We're trying to be perfect, like it says in Matthew 5:48, so we could start living to the will of God, so we can give up so we don't have to be a servant to the flesh. You know what I'm saying? We can stay diligent. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Romans 6:6. It's the book of Romans it's the book of Romans chapter 6 and verse 6. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, being that Yahushua died for us, so the old person that we were died with him, right? That the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. We should not serve sin, right? And if you are, right, let's go to being a servant to sin. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. It's the book of John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whoso committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Okay. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Verse 9. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of God. Alright, so it's very, very important, man, that we don't serve sin, that we don't, you know what I'm saying? Let's get John chapter 8 and verse 34. I'm going to close out with this, Lord willing. It's the book of John chapter 8 and verse 34. It's the book of John chapter 8 and verse 34. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. Okay, so if you're you are of the devil. If you commit sin, you are a servant to sin. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very important. Romans 7. I'm gonna have to close out with that. Again, it's your boy King Hebrew, guys. Keep the commandments. Happy Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. No buying.